What up? It's your boy Wall Street, and I'm back. Today, little quick video. I didn't really mention a lot about the Pacers series when I did my recap about the Knicks season. I wanted it to be a little bit more holistic, but I just wanted to do a little quick video and talk about what I'd noticed from that series that I think, if it had gone differently, would have probably ended in the Knicks' favor, and the Knicks would probably be in the NBA Finals right now. But I think it's the main thing really is like Karl Anthony Towns has this like uncanny tendency to just foul. Like I don't know what it is, but he just commits bad fouls. And I think if he can get that under control, there's a lot more to be said about how good of a defender he could be, right? Because I don't think he's the best defender, but I think if he can figure out how to play defense without fouling, he could be a valuable defensive piece, right? So I think that's the first thing, and it wasn't just Cat. I mean, other guys on the team were also just committing silly fouls, and I think that's going to always be your downfall. Preventable mistakes are things that are, always basically the thing that drags a team down, right? When you're just making unforced errors, you're never really going to succeed in the long run, right? You might win a series or two, but it's going to be tough, right? So I think the other thing is controlling the turnovers. The Knicks, in the majority of these games were losing the turnover battle, right? And it wasn't just the fact that they were turning the ball over a lot. It was the fact that those turnovers were directly turning into, transition scoring opportunities for the Pacers. And the Pacers are a team that plays with extraordinary pace. So if you're turning the ball over, they're going to keep scoring like just on another level. Like they're going to score so many points, right? So they had to control their turnovers. They couldn't do it. I think a big piece of that is the fact that they were just gassed towards the end. Like a lot of these guys didn't have their legs under them. They were not running as hard as they were in the first and second round. It is what it is. But I think that's a bigger conversation to have with Tibbs and the overall coaching policy and philosophy of the Knicks, because they just don't run a deep rotation. And I think part of that is because of the coaching, and I think the other part of that is that their bench just really isn't that deep. So they got to figure that one out. And third, I think overall the defense was just not great from the beginning of the series to the end. I don't think they took the Pacers as seriously as they should have, because I think what at least a lot of Knicks fans thought was, okay, we beat the Celtics. Now this is going to be a cakewalk to get to NBA Finals, right? No, absolutely not. Wrong. And the thing that I think made people think that is because when they played the Pacers last season in the semis, the Knicks were like hanging on by a thread. I'm pretty sure OG Anunoby went down, Jalen Brunson went down, Julius Randle was out. I think Josh Hart had some sort of injury. So they were severely injured, right? And then the Pacers get to the Eastern Conference Final, they lose to the Celtics. So I think a lot of people thought back then that it was, if it was the Knicks in the Eastern Conference Final, if we were healthy, it would have been a different story, would have been raps, we would be in the finals, whatever. Knicks fans are a little bit, delusional sometimes, right? But I do think they have a point, right? If they had a healthy team, maybe they would have beat the Pacers last season. I don't know. But I think going into this series with that mentality of like, our team's healthy now, this is going to be no issue, that's a problem. And I think that's why we had the result we had in game one, where Aaron Nesmith, also credit to Aaron Nesmith. I've never seen anything like that, where a dude just makes like 4 or 5 threes in a row with like less than 2 minutes left and basically sends the game to OT, right? Like Tyrese obviously is the one that sent the game to OT, but that game's not going to OT if it wasn't for Aaron Nesmith. So I think it was just like sloppiness and a little bit of complacency. And honestly, I think they just, because I saw this in the Celtics series a little bit too, but I think the pressure wasn't on them to win in the Celtics series because no one really expected them to win. I think everyone thought the Celtics are just going to basically cakewalk to the finals, especially after Indiana took down the Cavs. So it didn't make a lot of sense how the Knicks approached this series. And I think the fact that they were losing games at home is just not good, right? You're never really going to recover in the playoffs when you have that, right? Because your home court advantage in the playoffs is a big deal. You have to defend home court because it's going to be tough to win those games on the road, especially if they're closeout games, anything like that. Like, it's going to be tough. It's going to be absolutely just a tough way to go. So I think if Cat can figure out how to play defense without fouling and just minimize his fouling, right? Even if he's not playing better defense, just stop fouling, right? Like, just you got to figure that out. The turnovers have got to be better. They have to learn how to take better care of the ball. And that goes on Jalen Brunson, that goes on, Deuce McBride, that goes on Karl Anthony Towns, that goes on everybody on this team. And then just going into it thinking that, whatever team you play, you have to take them serious and you have to lock in on defense. You cannot, even if there's 5 minutes left in the game, you can't just let your foot off the gas, even if you're up by 20. Like, if you're up by 20 and there's a minute left, okay, then you're probably good. But again, credit to Aaron Nesmith. I've never seen anything like that, like live before. So shout out Aaron Nesmith. And the Pacers, credit needs to be given to them. They really did what they had to do. They really showed up, and frankly, they were the better team this time around. But, could the Knicks have beaten them and gotten to the NBA Finals? I think so. I think a lot of the preventable mistakes could have, been prevented. And, we might be looking at an OKC New York Knicks final if that was the case. But unfortunately, we'll have to wait till next year to see if they can do that. But that's really my take. If you guys were watching the series, please let me know in the comments down below what you thought about it. How do you think the Knicks should have performed differently in order to advance to the NBA Finals? I want to know your thoughts. So please leave some comments down below. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. And I'm going to check you guys later, man. Stay safe, stay up, stay blessed, stay humble. Handle business, stand on business. Peace out.